something to eat, my mama and our neighbors made it on Saturday night. They wouldn't even cook on Sunday. They were fanatics. Wasn't too bad a fanatic either. The stores all closed. They had what they call the blue law. I don't know if you ever heard of the blue law or not, but you could not. You would be arrested if you opened a store, fined big and then arrested if you opened your store on Sunday. Not only did they not sell booze on Sunday, they didn't sell it anywhere. So we have changed. They're coming out of the closet all over the place. The government has turned very wicked. I was reading the other day about our president, that they have now come up with enough information to show that he is a member of the Brotherhood, the Muslim Brotherhood. And they found where his paperwork signed him and agreed to be a member of the Muslim Brotherhood. It's a different world. Men marrying men, women marrying women, and being acceptable. God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah for just this, except it wasn't this bad. What am I saying? Be careful. Don't take anything for granted. We give everything we've got in order to bring the kingdom of God to this earth. I'm going to read a couple, 3 more scriptures. And this sounds so up to date. Verse 10, this is in the Message again. Judgment day, fate has caught up with you. The scepter outsides the pretentious. Pride bursting all bounds. Violence, stuttering, brandishing the evil scepter. But there's nothing to them. Nothing will be left of them. Time's up. Count down. 5, 4, 3, 2. Buyer, don't crow. Seller, don't worry. Judgment wrath has turned the world topsy-turvy. Can't you know that our world is pretty much topsy-turvy right now?
Yes.
The Middle East, if it's not ablaze, it's smithering, ready to break open. The bottom has dropped out of buying and selling. What are they saying about the stock market? Nothing can be trusted. That we are on the verge of a huge, huge sell-off. The bottom has dropped out of buying and selling. It will never be the same again. It almost sounds like this is for today. But don't fantasize an upturn in the market. The country is bankrupt. Sounds too real, doesn't it? Because of its sins. It's not going to get any better. Conclusion of the scriptures. No. But let's go back. Yet I'll have people whom I will prosper greatly and cover, and take care of. Instead of having a little rowboat or a little fishing boat, you'll have the choice of one of these 100-foot yachts. You can entertain the brothers and sisters on. I'm just telling you, it is not bad. What is going on? We've got to do everything we can to get as many saved, as many into the kingdom. The other night I saw, literally, when we were down at Hart Plaza, I don't know if anybody has noticed the size of that place. It's huge. I bet you we could get 500,000 people on Hart Plaza. Pull a boat up, dock it. Have that place set up with PA systems, get up on that the top deck and sing and worship and preach and pray and give the word. And it would be for 2 reasons. One, worship, and the other one's for repentance. Detroit is coming to God. And He is going to open the door. We're going to start some things today. We've already started them. Detroit is coming to God. Anybody have a comment you would like to make? Or a question? Yeah.
I think it was the beginning.
I can't hear you.
I think it was the beginning of August.
Yeah.
I went down to Shane Park.
Okay.
They did almost the same thing. They had a service there and, just filled up from front all the way to back. Like you said, music, repentance, the word. People came down in droves to accept Christ. It was just awesome. So Heart Plaza can do the same.
Let me ask you, that's wonderful. But when I left here last Sunday, I went over to, what's the name of your church, brother?
International Gospel Center.
International Gospel Center. He played hooky over there last week. I went over. I got in on the last song at noon. The pastor, Marvin Miles, was encouraging people to join us today. They did this on television. And he said it like this, and I don't want I want some black people there. He could say that, he's black. He said, I want some black people. He said, I went out here where they had 20,000 people somewhere at a park. They were building a new house. They were doing all kind of stuff and cleaning blocks. And he said, I couldn't even see a single black person. He said, what'd that tell me? The Detroiters aren't doing any of this. They're coming from the suburbs. They're doing their thing and they're going back. He said, we got to have Detroiters involved. That's what we've got to reach. When you go to a thing like that and 95% of them are white, you know that they came in from the suburbs and they're going to run right back out. And that's not what Vernon and I have done. We've come here to stay till this job is done. And if we leave, it'll only be because we're not needed here. We'll be needed in Cleveland, Ohio, where we'll take this next. But Detroiters have got to come to Jesus. They don't have any hope. They're walking around hopeless. That's what we're finding.
Yes.
Hopeless.
Yes.
Nothing to live for. They either in a church where they are bound and told if you don't stay there you're going to lose it, or they just have no hope. They have no cars. It's so rare to have somebody come in here with a car. Yeah, they don't have cars. They don't have jobs. They walk to these stores and whatever money they can pick up, they pay triple what they should be paying.
That is correct.
And I understand the store owner because he has so much thievery. If he doesn't charge that, he goes out of business. So it's a situation. We've got to bring it around. Yes.
And the bus system here, the transportation system is just terrible.
That's what they tell me.
It's terrible. People can't get to the job, or
And then they lose their job.
at night. Then they can't get home because they're stuck way out somewhere and the bus doesn't run and they miss the last bus. And people have been talking to me about it. It's just,
This is going to change. I mean, we aren't accepting this. I somehow believe that what we did Friday night over in that building, that stock exchange building, there's going to be millions and millions of dollars released to much of it will go to these people who are bound here, and they're bound because their money was stolen.
Yes.
a lot.
It's stolen through these high-flying liars,
Yes.
thieves, who make huge, huge money, and they're very, very wealthy, but they got their wealth off of the poor. I had a lady in a hardware store tell me, says, "Thank God you're here." I said, "Well, thank you." I didn't know what she meant. She said, "If you'd have come 5 years ago, you couldn't have done anything, because all of the snipers were here stealing everything. But now they think they've got it all, they've gone somewhere else to work." She said, "Now you got a chance. We're going to get the money back for the people." You know, many of them don't trust us because they think we're coming to get something, to get what little bit they got left.
Yes.
We're not after getting anything from anybody. We're going to see Detroit come back. If I wanted to get something from somebody, I'd stay out in the burbs.
It reminds me of Matthew 12 when you were talking about what the lady said. the demons were all around me, and it says you sweep the house and they go.
Yeah,
And then when they find out what the situation is, they'll come back.
it's 10 times
So
worse.
they realize they will come back.
Well, we're not gonna let them back in. They're gonna run, and they're not coming back. We're gonna put guard, place guard up. Anyone? Yes.
Yeah, like I mentioned to you, God sent me here for the same purpose I told him my flyers in the car. And
You probably need to speak up a little bit.
we've been preparing to have a march, prayer walking around the city, around our area. But we came up against a contention. And so for now, we're just cooling down and praying and waiting. So like you just said a short while ago, that a house fellowship should be opened up in every home. And I really appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to it, that there'll be people who will come, join, and we want to do a march walk around the area we live in, pray walk over the land, and come around. Walk. We even planned, I didn't know you had something going on in the center. We planned that as we grow gradually and the group gets bigger and stronger, we'll go to the city center. I didn't know the city center at that time, and do the same march walk, just praying and walking around that place and pulling down the strongholds.
Very good. Let me give a caution though. Make sure you do what God tells you to do and not what you think you want to do.
Yeah.
When we walked the square mile 10 days in a row, right at daylight, we were protected big time. It was so good that Verna said a few weeks later, a few months later, so why don't we do this again? I said, no, not unless God says do it. Because if we do it because we want to do it, I mean, that was danger where we walked. But it wasn't dangerous for us because we knew we were walking where God said to walk. Make sure you're doing, you got a direction. And somebody the other day said they started doing a prayer walk and they got beat up. Said they don't understand. I said, well, who told you to do it? Well, we just knew it was the thing to do. I said, no, you don't do it. You be sure you're doing what God tells you. Yes, Ron.
You got 1 minute, but also the reason that these house churches are taking place is because the business church isn't taking care of the people.
That's right. I agree. Well, we've got a job. It's massive, but we can do it. God in one is a majority. And as we shared earlier, as we started, that until we recognize our ineffectiveness, till we realize that we are capable, is the only time that God can really use us. When we feel like we have enough talent, we can do whatever needs to be done. And I probably felt that way for a number of years, to be honest. I started ministries, massive. Okay, thank you.